I mean, I'll level with you, Chiefy. I'm still a bit annoyed at what you did with Giorgio, but I trust you enough, okay? So you can have Ezra. I'm sure there's other options out there, okay? And we'll let that be the case. Just, don't do anything else to annoy me because I did put your name up for the All Whites job once I get out of here, okay? So just try and think about the greater good, okay?
All right, mate.
All right, mate. I'll catch you around.
Cheers, Shaun.
Cheers, Chiefy. Good luck for the league. Okay. Guys, come in. Right. Sorry, just trying to get Chiefy to not sell Ezra before he qualifies for the All Rights because, the Giorgio situation. Now, Champions League, Group C, so we've got a pre-season. It looks a simple enough group apart from Suva being the home team. That could be a little bit tricky, but let's just get some good fitness under our legs, top the group, and hopefully it's going to be nice and easy because the other New Zealand teams have Lock North and we've usually beat them pretty heavily, okay? So this should be a very comfy Champions League this season. Don't let me down.
The streets and the cities on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 155 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and Cashmere Technical. I hope you're doing well and come up there we start for the 2039 season of the Save as per usual with the group stage of the OFC Champions League and also a bit of club news and transfers as well going into the start of a new season. So if you're looking forward to that, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But there you can see what group we're in for the OFC Champions League this season. Of course, this is off the back of the National League Grand Final that we did play in yesterday's episode. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner and end a pretty comfortable winner over Havelock North. So it does mean Havelock North have just had their first trip to the OFC Champions League. We'll catch up on that later because as you can see, this time around we are in Group C. So it has meant we've got a bit of a pre-season in here at Cashmere Tech, but to be fair, as per usual, this is a group that we should be handling pretty easily with AS Central Sport from Tahiti, Suva from Fiji, who are the host nation for the Champions League group stage this season, albeit I think this is a bus trip we've already done, so don't need to redo that one for the National Stadium. I'm pretty sure, based on the picture that we'll have a look at shortly with the ground, the National Stadium. We've done this one because that looks like a ground that the Fijian Drua rugby team play at, and I think I've covered that one off before, so no bus trip. Hopefully I've got that right. We're over 150 episodes into this now. Honestly, I can't remember what bus trips we've done and which ones we haven't. And the other team in our group was Te Puhi Ameria team. I think we've taken on in the past and had the wood over out of Vanuatu. But a bit of club news before we have a bit more of a look at the Champions League for this season. First up, there has been a club takeover here at Cashmere Technical. It went through about a month or so ago. Thankfully, it didn't take too long, but really didn't do too much for us. Just the usual takeover, no extra finances pumped into the club, even though it actually looks like that might be the case. That actually might be coming from the bank loan that we're taking out for the expansion to the stadium that is currently taking place. Of course, this year we are based at Rugby League Park in Christchurch, aka Orange Ferry Stadium, whatever it's called, the ground that the Crusaders do play at in real life. But there you can see a couple of friendlies and some pretty good results, and there have been some transfers we have made going in to this new season. Of course, did need a couple of under 20 players because we were losing that status with both Debenham and Host Suffer going in to this new season. We have sorted that out, but to be fair, it's going to be very janky, our team, once we make our way into the National League. In terms of Champions League, pretty similar to what we had here last season, albeit, as you can see there have been some notable players who have departed since the end of December. Of course, first up, Chris Granger and Sana Diop. We knew that going into the end of yesterday's episode. But the new one that we've got rid of is Ezra Zumas. Has made his way to the Wellington Phoenix for a fee of £55,000. Kind of similar to back when we sold Giorgio Ciardello, which, as you knew from a couple of days ago, that didn't actually work out too well for us. About 100 days before he would have qualified for the All Whites, they sold him to Genoa. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time around. And to be fair, going to the Phoenix probably gives them more of a chance of actually getting a recall for the Australian team proper if someone like Stephen Lopez is playing for those guys. But obviously, really good season for us last season here at Cashmere, taking the overall record really good 69 appearances, great number with 73 goals. I think he deserved a shot back in the A-League, 27-year-old with a fair few caps there for Australia. Unfortunately, can't actually see how long it will be until he does qualify for All Rights, but usually it's 5 years. Let's just see how long he has been based here in New Zealand. Signed for us back in August 2035. So as long as he stays there until the 6th of August next year, he'll be eligible for the All Whites orbit with 22 caps. That's probably a bit presumptuous anyway. If someone like Max Caputo will turn us down, then probably Ezra Zumas will do as well, of course, if he doesn't get recalled by Australia in between now and then. But a good player for us, was one of our better ones here last season at the club, but he's made his way to the Wellington Phoenix. That was for a fee of £55,000, but really he was the only first team player that we got rid of going into this new season, and we bought a couple more, and a couple of youngsters have joined us, and Jason Day, an American goalkeeper with some decent potential, 1.5 star current ability, 3.5 star potential, formerly of the LA Galaxy. And also going up a bit more, we've got Christy Kaplani, formerly of Bayern Munich, albeit I thought that potential was a bit higher than what it's actually ended up being. So not too sure if he'll stay here too long. Not someone I think I'll try and keep at the club if another one does come in to try and pinch him. But also we've bought him from Viking, Bjorn Inge Chellerman. He is a central midfielder, a central attacking midfielder, in fact, quite similar to that previous player. Another one I thought might have a bit more potential. So a couple of players there to boost our under-20s. The big signings do come above that though. First up, I was really struggling to find a decent under-20 player for this upcoming season. To be fair, we've still got about 2 months till that matters. The National League does kick off. But I had a look in the loan market and found Jerome Debussy from Barcelona. He's a midfielder. Barcelona want him to play as a deep-lying playmaker, so we might actually have to, once we get to the National League, move that usual position a bit further forward from defensive midfielder into a more central one. But he does look like a pretty good player out of Spain, will fill one of those under-20 spots, and is very highly rated with good current ability and potential as well. Is registered for the Champions League, but to be fair, not actually as good as Sam Clark in that deep-lying playmaker role. But we're probably going to have to use this guy during the course of the domestic seasons. That's our big signing, I suppose, on a loan, Jerome Debussy from Barcelona. To be fair, there were some other good players available from big European clubs, but the wages they wanted were just ridiculous. We couldn't pay those. This one is one that we could afford. So Debussy's here for the rest of the season at Kashmir Tech. Definitely one of our under-20 options, and he will probably be one who does start quite regularly. And otherwise, we've replaced Ezra Zumas with a former Phoenix striker in Craig Johnston. He's been without a club for a good 7 or 8 months now. Thankfully, he's actually here on a non-contract. The first time I tried to sign him, around the same time we picked up Prince Kamalo, he wanted a wage of around £8,000 a week. So definitely getting him on a non-contract is a good bit of business, pretty good replacement for Ezra Zumas. He can be the backup to Prince Kamalo, even though I'm pretty sure that he is actually above Kamalo in the All Whites pecking order in terms of being a backup striker. But obviously, if that's the case, that's a really good pairing we've got up front now here at Kashmir Tech in Johnston as well as Kamalo. And the other player that we've signed is our second under-21 for this season, and Greg Martinez. He's definitely not as good as someone like Hosafa, but just in case we can't find anyone else, he would be the ball-playing defender for our starting lineup in the National League. So those are the signings and sales that we have made here at Kashmir Tech going into 2039. The big one is Zuma's out, and that loanee from Barcelona as well as Greg Martinez, and of course Craig Johnston, one of the backup strikers with the All Whites. So it does mean our starting lineup going to the Champions League is actually pretty much the same as it was at the end of last season, because thankfully that won't make too much difference. Usually Jonas Otto would be in there, but he's on a heavy workload, so Azurio does get the start in this upcoming game. To be fair, that's really the only change with that departure of Greenish, but usually this will be our best 11 here at Kashmir Tech, but it will need to change for the National League. Probably Hosafa will come out for someone like Greg Martinez. We'd have to bring in there instead of Sam Clark and Debussy, and that would mean we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 foreigners. So going to need to do a bit of jiggling there to sort that out. Maybe Corona comes out of the squad for someone like Marcus Vinicius. And as well as that, it might be that we drop someone like a Sousa for a PA or even call up Jack Smith from our B team, or we could also get rid of one of those wingers and play a local replacement. To be fair, the only option there though would be Azorio in place of Jonas Oros. National League wise, not going to be as strong as we will be in the Champions League, but to be fair, that's okay. That's kind of what I want to get to going to the next Club World Cup that we do play here with Kashmir Technical, and of course, we are in the Champions League to start off 2039. We're in Group C. We saw it before. Should be pretty easy work for us. We'll take on Suva, see if that's a close one or not, and then hopefully just press on and then see what our path to the final will be in this year's competition. There's Group D, AS Magenta, Simbu, Tafia, and Wani Agu. So a couple of names there who usually do quite a good job in the Champions League. And Group A and B are already finished. Havelock North, their first time in the Champions League, have topped their group. To be fair, I did keep a bit of an eye out on that one, seeing as that was their first time. The last time a team were first up in the Champions League, I think it was us before I took over, and they got knocked out in the quarterfinals. So we'll see how Havelock North do get on in the knockouts. There is a chance they might not be as good as the likes of Western Suburbs or Auckland City have been in the past, but they topped that group, and Navu go through as the second qualifier. AS Alu from Tahiti and Vitale Uta from Samoa are already out and going down to Group B. Kosa top that one, and Tupapa Maralinga go through as the second qualifier. Kagua Arave and Lossi have been knocked out. So that's what's happened in the front half of the draw there for the Champions League, and we are about to take on Suva, who are a one-star reputation team, but to be fair, are in front of their home fans. So I'd like to think this is going to be our toughest game in the Champions League this season, at least in terms of the group stage. Hopefully, we're pretty close to a best 11 for this game. We should be able to put on a show and pick up a nice comfy result here in this one. Just one injury as well going to the new season. As per usual, it's Andy Roberts. He'd be the backup usually to Harry Debenham, but did get injured in a warm-up game. He is out for 6 days to 2 weeks. So thankfully, not as big as the injury he suffered when he joined the club last season, but still, that's going to keep him out for this entire group stage, seeing as it does just last week. So he's unfortunately not had much game time since coming here, usually in the physio room, but to be fair, that shouldn't hurt us too much in the Champions League, and hopefully we can get off to a good start with a win over in Suva. And here are the team sheets for this first game of 2039 in the Save the Champions League opener with Kashmir Technical. They're the home team, and Suva going with a 4-4-2. As we ran through before, just one change to our usual best 11, and we've got no restrictions as Oreo is in there for Otto, seeing as he is quite injury prone on a heavy workload. No thank you, don't want him to get injured this early in the season, but definitely a game we should be winning. But considering it's against the host nation and the team, you'd like to think this will be the toughest one. So if we can win this one well, with, as I said, pretty close to a full strength 11, we'll do pretty well throughout the remainder of the group stage. And a very early highlight here, only 1 minute in, and it was Suva on the attack, thankfully, win that ball as they try and pump it deep. Now Kamalo getting that starting role this season, plays it out to Azorio, squares it nicely, back in there for the Prince, who puts it away, top right corner. It's not the start the home team will want here. A good way for us to silence them nice and early, just 90 seconds in, and we grab the opening goal. Janssen there plays it forward to the Prince. Azorio did a great job for us in this competition last season when Chris Grange was injured. Looks like he could do it again if Otto gets injured this time around. That's a nice ball. Kamalo puts it away, 1-0 up early. And we're head to wait another 10 minutes for the next highlight of this game, and it starts off there with a free kick to Suva, and we just do enough there through Kamalo to get that ball back. Now Janssen does quite well there to thread a needle gap and pick out Azorio, tight angle. He goes down, but no penalty, probably fair, because it looked like Shaun there won the ball, was nowhere near the player. So Suva here will get a chance to make their way out from the back, but that ball's too deep. Anderson wins it, and good pass that from Clark to find Janssen, picks out Azorio in a bit of space, tight angle, but puts that one just inside of that far post. So 2 highlights so far for 2 goals. That makes it 2-0, just shy of the 15-minute mark. In early stages, does look like here going to be having a quite cruisy time through the group stage of the Champions League, to be fair, this season, with Havelock North being the other New Zealand team. This could be a Champions League, which is a little bit more lackluster than the last couple that we have played. There's a highlight here from the kickoff. Let's see if Suva, they can strike back. But to be fair, I am quite tempted to do a speed run of this season of the save, just in case it does become a little bit boring is when the ball back there and Osorio gets us on the attack. But I do feel like we're starting to become very, very dominant in New Zealand. Of course, that could change with those squad changes we have to make going into the National League with the under-20 requirements. As Osorio there goes looking for a double, but that one actually just goes wide. Thought there's Singer, but a touch on that one, apparently not, but might be able to go through at World Cup Football Manager speed if it gets a bit too bland here and hopefully get through this season a bit quicker. So we might be able to spend some more time at the Club World Cup and the proper World Cup to end the save. But there's our third goal. Debenham sets up Khalid, gets his name on the score sheet. Good little finish there from a tight angle off the back of a throw-in routine. Corona picks out Debenham there in a ton of space, and Khalid just on the right side there of his defender beats Singh at the near post. 15 minutes in, and already 3-0 in front. And just making my way past the 20-minute mark for the next highlight of this game off the back of that quick fire double to make it 3-0. That was a bit of an average pass there, but for some reason we didn't put the pressure on. Maybe that's why, because then Suva just give it straight back to us, albeit our centre-backs in no hurry to claim that ball before playing it back there to Cifuentes. He's not that far away now from becoming an all-whites option, which will be important because Alex Paulson actually is retiring at the end of this European season. So that's definitely going to be a bit of a weak area with the All Whites as Kamalo gets up, wins that one in the air and gets himself on a hat-trick nice and early across the face of goal. That usually doesn't work too well, but that time it loops the goalkeeper, makes its way into the top left corner, and just shy of halfway through the first half already, we've got a 4-0 lead here in Suva. This looks like the group stages of the Champions League are going to be pretty comfortable. Singh might have got a touch on that one, but still beats him, and Kamalo, as I said, gets himself on a hat-trick and makes it 4-0. And only a minute off the back of that previous goal, there's a free kick here to Suva. They take that one straight down the middle and pick out Singer, then tries to loop that one over the top there for Shaun, but that ball doesn't make its way in behind. Now a chance for us here to do something on the counter-attack. Kamalo already searching for a hat-trick, puts that one far post there looking for Osorio, can't quite find him, and Sousa plays that one back though into the mixer for Sam Clark. Let's see what he can do. Pulls it back for Sousa. Picks out Khalid. I think that shot took a bit of a deflection. Not too sure who from, but Khalid will claim that goal. Also gets himself on a hat-trick just over halfway through the first half, and already we're 5-0 in front. Might be time for goal rush nice and early in this game, but we're keeping the ball here in some really good areas. I think that one comes off the defender. Apparently no own goal. Must be making its way into the back of net, and Khalid makes it 5-0. And going forward a few more minutes for the next highlight of this game, have scored an offside goal since you were last here, but clearly offside. Didn't even have to wait for the offside flag to go up. It was just called straight away. Cifuentes there looked like he might have almost carried that one into the back of his own net. Thankfully, no VAR. That one didn't get pulled up because it did look like there that might end up being a goal for Suva. Not that it would matter. We should still be fine with a 5-0 lead, but Debenham will put this one far post. They're looking for Osorio. Can't quite find him. They clear it, but good work from Hosafa. Gets that down to Corona on a yellow card. So he's probably coming off at halftime. Khalid plays that one out there to Osorio just on the edge of the box. Nice ball in there for Khalid, who puts it away. And there's a hat-trick for him inside a half hour. I thought he'd be our player of the season last year with his rating. In the end, I think that went to Ezra Zumas instead. From memory, the player no longer here at the club, but that's some great work from Khalid early. Osorio, that cross did take a deflection, but still it was in the right area, and Khalid completes a hat-trick to make it 6-0. And we just made our way into the last 10 minutes of this first half, and now it's a corner here in our favour. Anderson puts that one there, far post for Kamalo, looking to complete a hat-trick, and that one comes off the woodwork. A big chance for us there, and for Kamalo to complete that hat-trick and make it a rugby score here at the Drewers Stadium before half-time, but I think that's going to do it for this first half. Very good one. We're 6-0 in front already. Looking pretty good in the Champions League this season. I think the extra build-up through the pre-season might be helping us hit the ground running a bit more than we have in some previous seasons in this competition. Obviously, going to take off here Corona on that yellow card, but also Debenham looks like it's on a bit more of a deeper green heart than some other players. We're going to be on Wilson in his place, and Vinicius comes on for the yellow card Corona, but obviously very happy with how this one's going. 6-0 in front. And just coming to the hour mark in this game, there's been no decent highlights so far in the second half. A couple of clear offside ones, but Carly got that first half hat-trick on a bit of a deeper yellow heart. Mazinho can come on him with just over a half hour left. And going forward about 10 minutes off that previous sub, and now there's a corner here in our favour going far post for Tim Anderson. Heads that one into the ground and beats the Singh at his near post. So Tim Anderson gets on the score sheet previously, only on a 6.9 rating. That should get him in the green. But Mazinho here off the bench does take that corner, picks out Anderson nicely, and that one does just beat Singh at his near post. That will make it 7-0. Off the back of that, might be time here for another sub. Stam Clark on a little bit of a deep yellow heart. Tristan Turner could come on, but let's give a debut to Indebusi on camera, the Barcelona man, and see what he is all about with 20 minutes left. And only a few minutes off the back of that goal and sub. Now there's another corner here in our favour. We take this one short and we go to Osorio, who starts to make his way in field. Let's see what he does. Plays that one back to Marcus Vinicius with a first-time finish. Beats Singh in goal, and Marcus Vinicius scores his first goal in a long time in the senior team here at Kashmir Tech. That makes it 8-0. You ate to see it, but not quite, because of course Suva, no goals yet. But Osorio, big dribble here from that corner, picks out Vinicius, and that's a real rocket there with his right foot. To be fair, not quite in that bottom right corner, but still finds the back of the net, which sometimes is all you need to do in these Champions League games. Going to make a final sub, take off Sousa or PA off the back of making it 8-0. And just about to make our way into the last 10 minutes of this game, and again we are on the attack here with a thrown inside of the final third. Wilson puts this one far post there, looking for Osorio, but this time Singh does come out and claim it, albeit big looping ball, not too difficult with not much pressure on him. He pumps that one deep. Wilson plays it forward, looking for Janssen. Can't quite find him, but there's our Barca man. He picks out Janssen. Nice ball forward there to the Prince, and finally completes a hat-trick. Got 2 goals pretty early there in the first half. Missed a big chance late on, but this time we'll put that one away. Good little honky assist there for our new man from Barcelona. Then Janssen sets up the goal. First time pass to Fred through Camalo, who puts it away in the top left corner. We're 1 goal now off making it double figures with a 9-0 lead. And just about to make our way here into only 2 minutes of added time, so I don't think we're going to quite hit double figures here in our first game of this new season, our first proper one, but 2 hat-tricks there to Khalid and Camalo. Also goals there to Tim Anderson. I think it was Vinicius with one of the others, and honestly, can't quite remember who else it was that scored the other one. It was Osorio, of course, at left wing. Of course, he did actually set up quite a few there with 4 assists, so that a very good performance. Can rest some key players once they did drop down to some slightly tired hearts, but still that should put us in good stead for the remaining 2 games of this group stage, which really we should be winning. So we'll go forward, recap what happens in those games, and then see what our path to this year's final is when we do the draw for the quarters and the semis. So a really nice win for us there in the first game of this new season in the group stage of the Champions League. And as you can see, it got even better in our next couple of games. I say even better, not quite, but still, no goals conceded, 23 goals for, absolutely wiping the floor with that group. We backed up that win with a 7-0 win against AS Central Sport. That was with a full rotation, a double there to Martinez, our new signing at centre-back, the under-20 player. He scored both penalties for some reason, was on those because he's got 10 penalty taking. To be fair though, only 2 finishing, so not too sure if that was such a good idea, but thankfully in a game like this, we got away with it. Also goals there to Arce, Mazinho, Johnston with a double on debut, and Wilsner also chipped in to Pugiamiri. They beat Suva off the back of a 1-1 draw against AS Central Sport in the other game on that opening match day, so it put them in prime position to qualify out of that group. And despite the fact they lost to us 7-0 on the final match day, thanks to goals there to Khalid, double to Janssen, Anderson, and Otto, finally got on the field and scored a hat-trick, got a ton of assists, did the former Bayern Munich man, and definitely looking forward to using him this season here at Kashmir Tech, but he helped us pick up another 7-0 win, Suva 3-2 over AS Central Sport. It did mean that Pugiamiri just did enough to go through as the second team from Group C. So 3 very comfortable wins for us there to top the group and going down to Group D, and that was won by Waniagu. Tafia finished second, and Simbu and AS Magenta, they get knocked out. Quite surprising actually that AS Magenta finished bottom of that group. To be fair, that was quite a strong one. 3 teams who usually do make their way through the knockouts of this competition. But now it's time for us to look at the draw for the quarters and the semis. See when we get Havelock North in this competition. It could be the semis or it could be the final. Seeing as they top their group though, we should avoid them in this next round, which is the quarters. First up, Waniagu think they top their group, so we shouldn't get them. They get Tapuji. Of course, we're second in our group, so maybe we get Tawhia. That would be quite tough quite early, and indeed, that is the case. So it's going to be both teams from the same side of the draw taking each other on. We take on Tawhia, Waniagu will take on Tapuji, and that means Havelock North will get to Papamaringa from the Cook Islands, and Kossa from the Solomons. They get Nauru. So there's a draw for the quarters of the Champions League. Now let's see if it sticks to the same side of the draw for the semis. Based on what's happened so far, you'd think would be taking the winner of Waniagu or Tapuji. If we do get past Tawhia, let's see if that will be the case. And it will be, because Havelock North, they will take on the winner of Kossa and Nauru. So we will meet Havelock North in the final if we make it that far. So that draw actually making sense for once in Football Manager. So that's going to do it for today's episode. We've made our way quite comfortably there through the group stages of the Champions League. Also, a couple of new signings and a couple of sales going in to this new season. If you enjoyed it, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Now, what we'll come back for start of next week, as I said, this could be a bit of an easy Champions League for us. Tawhia have been decent at times in the save. They also haven't, so I'll probably record the games just in case. If they're no good, we might just skip them on camera and wait till we get a decent game or a big game here in the Champions League this season. So we'll come back for Tawhia on Monday, or we might skip forward, just recap the results from that game and maybe do the next international window with the All Whites, which is in March. So it's only a month or so away. So to be fair, actually, that might be next up anyway before those quarterfinals do take place. We're going to play Germany and Paraguay. So a couple of new teams that we don't usually take on here in this save. The Germans, we take on away. They're currently up in 10th in the world. So to be fair, they are below the USA, but probably quite a tough opponent for us there. In that one, hopefully can somehow find a way to burgle the result off them. And off the back of that game, which should be a bit more winnable, we take on Paraguay just below us. And 18th in that one is in New Zealand. So hopefully can beat them like we did to Australia in yesterday's episode and maybe find a way to pinch a draw or something off of Germany. So until that one coming up in tomorrow's episode, I'll just double check. I'm pretty sure that the quarters, they will start after those friendlies, and indeed that is the case. Definitely coming back start of next week for some All White section. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.